Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So I think I know the cause of the Bitcoin crash. Okay, this is of course the big topic. Everyone is wondering, why did Bitcoin crash all of a sudden? It ruined Bitcoin Day. It ruined such a monumental day for Bitcoin and El Salvador. So why did this happen? Well, I'm going to explain why and why it was done today. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Lively crowd. A lot of people antsy, anxious, disappointed, fearful of what's going on. No, it's not F2 pool, although maybe. I can't see. Can't see the stats. CryptoQuant, remove the stats, and no one else seems to be contrary to F2 pool these days. But I do think I have the real reason outside of F2 pool. So you can see Bitcoin ever since it fell down this morning from about 51,000, hit as low as 42.8, and then bounced back in the middle, so right around 47,000. To put things in perspective, this is not all that bad for those of you guys that like to spread FUD, because we are at the same point Bitcoin was at basically September 1st, 6 days ago, less than a week ago. Okay, so we reset 6 days, but not really, because some altcoins are still heading higher. So grand scheme of things, this is really nothing. Okay, yes, we had a little dip, but this is not reason to be panicking and thinking the top is here and all things have gone to hell. No, that's not the case at all. But we did fall down. Okay, we did fall down, and it shows the importance of having some cash on the side in case something like this happens, so you can take advantage. There's so many bargains today to be had. I mean, there's still a lot that you could take advantage of, but it does show you why you do need to have some cash on the side. It's just smarter. If you have 20-30% cash, you could DCA. You could be laughing all the way to the bank because you're able to buy cheap Bitcoin and cheap crypto. So that's what happened. But why today? Why now? Right? So I got thinking. This morning I kind of led to it. Of course, I do think it's probably the IMF, but I missed out on this. Even President Nayib Bukele from El Salvador tweeted it this morning, how he bought the dip, but I think people missed out on this, or maybe I did. Appears that discount is ending. He's referring to the Bitcoin dip, and then he's like, thanks for the dip at IMF News. We saved $1 million in printed paper. El Salvador now holds 550 Bitcoin, which is great, right? But why did he at IMF News? What did they say? Well, I discovered they tweeted this a few days ago, because I was looking at, they didn't tweet anything today, but they tweeted this August 28th. IMF News, same entity. Privately issued crypto assets like Bitcoin come with substantial risk, making them equivalent to a national currency that is inadvisable shortcut. Read more in our blog. Privately issued crypto assets, as if the SDR from IMF is not privately issued. How can they argue that Bitcoin is privately issued? From who? From Satoshi himself? I mean, who is issuing it? Bitcoin, right? So even this small tweet is flawed in so many ways. But, of course, the IMF does not like El Salvador adopting Bitcoin's legal tender. They really, really hate it. That's the funny thing. Why though? Why? So I'm trying to connect the dots. I'm like going through history. I'm like, why does IMF hate Bitcoin? Why don't they like it? Why don't they want a country that is actually borrowing money from them, borrowing SDR from them, to stop borrowing? Don't they want to see who they're lending to prosper and get on their feet and get out of the grasp of them, So if you think about what I just said, of course not, because the IMF is a giant bank. They have their own privacy issued SDR currency that they loan out and collect interest. So they don't want anyone to get out. That's the thing. Just like any other bank, if a bank issues you a mortgage, do they really want you to pay that mortgage off? No. That's why they have 30-year mortgages. That's why they have 40-year mortgages. Because they want to collect that interest from you. That's how they're making money, right? It's the same thing with the IMF. But let me show you the history. So this was back in September of 2017. This was when Bitcoin was still around 5,000, 45,000 mark. So this was the last run. Bitcoin was starting to come up, but this was pre the huge pump, right? So at this time, the director or the head of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, okay, she said, she was at a conference and she said some good things about Bitcoin that kind of shocked people. But keep in mind, Bitcoin at that time was only like $3,000 to $4,000, so it was no threat to anyone. Okay, so to kind of quote what she said, virtual currencies are in a different category because they provide their own unit of account and payment systems. These systems allow for peer-to-peer transactions without central clearinghouses, without central banks. That's important. For now, virtual currencies such as Bitcoin pose little to no challenge to the existing order of fiat currencies and central banks. Why? Because they're too volatile, too risky, too energy intensive, and because the underlying technologies are not yet scalable. Many are too opaque for regulators and some have been hacked. Okay, but many of these technological challenges could be addressed over time. Not so long ago, some experts argued that personal computers would never be adopted and that tablets would only be used for expensive coffee trays. So I think it may not be wise to miss virtual currency. So she said it right there, right? She said it right there. Basically, Bitcoin at that time was no threat. No threat at all. But it could one day allow peer-to-peer transactions without central banks or without central clearinghouses. Isn't that what everyone wants? Well, not if you're a bank. Not if you're IMF. But see, like I said, that was September 2017. So this is when Bitcoin was still low. No one really thought it was a threat until look at this. Later this year, right towards Bitcoin's top, Bitcoin's market cap surpasses IMF's special drawing rights reserves. This is their special currency, SDR. At that time, it was about $300 billion. And I don't think the IMF knew what hit them. That this virtual currency out of the blue all of a sudden was worth more than all their reserve currency that they're meant to be loaning out to countries. Now you have this digital currency that have surpassed that. That's just mind-boggling to them, right? That threatens them. So this currency that was supposed to be no threat now really is a threat to how they can loan out their SDR. And then ever since then, it's been nothing but bad news. Nothing but bad news, right? IMF's Lagarde calls for Bitcoin crackdown. Of course, this is in 2018. Even though Bitcoin is falling down, they realized, well, Bitcoin's a real threat. We need to put a stop to it. So they're calling for Bitcoin crackdown, right? Here's another IMF issue stark warning over Bitcoin and crypto's rapid growth, how there could be, vulnerabilities and stuff like this. This is back, again, 2018, 2019, right? And of course, recently, they're warning everyone in the world, including El Salvador, that adopting Bitcoin as legal tender is not advisable, right? Nonstop FUD over the years ever since Bitcoin started climbing, because then they realized that it's actually a real threat, right? It's a real threat. And I was looking at this. So the IMF announces a $650 billion SDR allocation, right? Why did they have to increase the allocation from $300 billion to $650 billion? Because this is what they do. They're a bank. They loan out. And they want to continue to loan out to countries like El Salvador, which struggles with, money financially. And you know what? Bitcoin, guess what, is bigger than $650 billion. So even though they have spread so much FUD, Bitcoin still has a larger market cap than the SDR allocation. And I don't think they like it. I don't think they like it at all, right? So today, this glorious day, Bitcoin Day, El Salvador making Bitcoin a legal tender, I don't think the IMF likes it at all. I think President Nayib also knows that, which is why he added IMF news, rubbing it in their face, right? Basically saying, F you, I don't care if you guys don't like it. I'm going to continue forward, right? So that's really what it's all about. So there you go. I connected the dots. So are they behind what we experienced today with Bitcoin? It's very likely. I think it's very likely. You can't discount them. Okay, the IMF is made up with several countries with very, very influential and powerful people and people with a lot of money. So can they do, this? Can they drop Bitcoin from 51, 52 down, and now this 47? Sure they can. But here's the good news. Despite the fact that they tried, Bitcoin is still holding at 47. We didn't crash down to 10,000. We didn't crash back down to 2017 level. No, we crashed down to the same level from 6 days ago. So this shows you how strong Bitcoin is. You can't kill Bitcoin at this point. You cannot. The cat's out of the bag. There's just too much support at this point, right? And this whole thing about how it can replace centralized banking, central banks, centralized clearinghouses, right? This is what Bitcoin is all about. This is what El Salvador wants to do and bring financial freedom to their citizens and to themselves. This is why Bitcoin is so big. And today, it's also reported that Panama is trying to do the same thing. Introduced a bill for regulating crypto because they want their businesses to also accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So that's why this is so monumental. Not only do we have the very first country adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, but other countries are looking at what El Salvador is doing. They're kind of like the test bed, right? The front runner. So people want to see if this is successful. If so, then other countries with millions and millions and millions and billions of citizens will be jumping in afterwards, right? That's why this is so big, and this is why you have entities like IMF and possibly others like the World Bank or whoever else, BlackRocks of the world, that may be putting damper on Bitcoin, at least temporarily, right? But I know most of you guys are not stupid. You're not falling for it. If anything, you are trying to panic buy, which is why this morning I was kind of upset that for some of you guys that tried to buy this morning, you have like Coinbase just going down, right? Why? They had years and years and years to prepare for situations like this. It's not like Coinbase haven't lived through pumps and dumps, haven't seen extreme volatility, haven't seen millions of people trying to jump in to buy, right? It's not like they haven't seen that before. So why can't they prepare, right? So if anything, we should be not only mad at IMF, we should be mad at some of these central banks, centralized exchanges that didn't allow people to be able to buy the dips, right? So that's very, very frustrating. So that is why decentralized exchanges is a necessity, even though they're not at the same point, as centralized exchanges, liquidity, the pools, just not there yet. But as more and more people embrace them and start utilizing them, it takes the powers away from the centralized exchanges, and that could be good. That could actually be a very good thing. So we don't have issues like this, right? So that's what happened today. Should you be panicking? Of course not, right? Of course not. You should be embracing this. You should take it in. You should take advantage and, of course, join the revolution. You should join into that Bitcoin Day and buy $30 worth of Bitcoin to help everyone else that is getting involved today, right? And MicroStrategy, I was waiting for Michael Saylor to announce he bought some Bitcoins today. I did not see it. I'm pretty sure he's bought enough. Okay, honestly, he's bought enough to he's bought enough. Let's just put it that way. But Michael Saylor did come out and say, had he chosen gold instead of Bitcoin last year, and keep in mind, it's only been a year. It seems like it's forever. Michael Saylor has only been in Bitcoin for really a year. MicroStrategy, the same thing. Had he purchased gold at that time versus Bitcoin, he would be down 80%. 80% versus Bitcoin, right? So even though Peter Schiff continues to troll on Twitter, every time Bitcoin dips, he comes out and says, oh, I told you so, it's going to go down more and this and that, right? Peter Schiff's own personal wealth in gold, if there is any, because it seems like he kind of sold all of it. He doesn't even own his gold companies anymore. But his wealth in gold has devalued by 80% versus Bitcoin just from year to year. Just year to year, not to talk about the last 10 years, right? So there you go. There you go. And finally, you have Standard Chartered coming out with a report. There's nothing new with Bitcoin, but it values Ethereum at 26 to 35,000. So if you guys think that Ethereum going into 10,000 is nutty, and which it can happen by the end of the year, well, think about it at 26 or 35,000. And that's because Standard Chartered, which is a British bank, they look at Ethereum and they recognize that they could do a lot. They could do DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations, DeFi, decentralized finance, marketplaces, of course, like NFT marketplaces, and there's just so much more, right? Obviously, Ethereum has its congestion issues right now, but if they solve it, they will be the new operating system for basically everything, right? So not all is lost. Not all is lost. We're nowhere close to it. So stay strong, right? Overall, you look at the market cap, it did fell down a little bit, but you got to view this glass half full, meaning, hey, there's some substantial discounts right now, right, that I could take advantage of. And this is a golden opportunity to DCA, buy the dip, get in on maybe a project or two that I've been eyeing that has not fallen, right, that I want to take advantage of. There's a lot of it. And that's how you got to see it. All right, that's pretty much it. You know what? Before I get in Q&A, I do have a new sponsor for today, and it does relate to passive income that some of you guys that are very familiar with. Because if you do hold, you're just holding your crypto, right? Why not make some passive income? And there's many ways to do so. Of course, you could put it into a centralized DeFi. That doesn't make sense. You could put it in a centralized lending platform like BlockFi or Celsius or Nexo. You could also use decentralized lending platforms like Aave or Curve or Compound, right? So there's a lot of options. Of course, there's yield farming. There's just a lot of options. So my new sponsor is Flurry, Flurry.finance. And they claim they're the future of yield farming, earn, trade, and spend. And the biggest difference with Flurry versus everything else is they are involved with yield farming with passive income, but you don't have to worry about lockups and you don't have to worry about all these platforms out there that are offering you yield. There's liquidity pools on many different chains. Of course, Ethereum, on Binance Smart Chain, on Polygon, there's everywhere, right? So Flurry just wants to take care of it for you. They will automatically find the best yield and make you interest with it. All you have to do is purchase their token, their RU token. So RU token is backed one-to-one to a stable coin, but you're making interest simply by holding onto it, right? So you're making interest without locking it in, and you get to spend it at your favorite DeFi DEX or AMM or whatever. You get to spend it and you're making interest without any kind of lockup. So that is the premise of Flurry, which is actually very different from most of the projects out there. So this is still work in progress. They're still working at this, right? One of the big things is there will be cross-chain. They will not just be limited on Ethereum, but also Binance Smart Chain and Polygon. And they are invested by some well-known investment companies like AU21. In fact, they raised a $3 million round, which is pretty substantial. This was just a few months ago, so they have plenty of money to operate with. And I mentioned about partnerships and chains. They did announce a partnership with Polygon, but right afterwards, they also announced a partnership with Kyber Network, which is also a decentralized exchange out there with yield pools. So Flurry will be part of their ecosystem as well, so that you can earn yields within the Kyber network using their RU token. So they are making strides already with partnerships, with investments. And two of the co-founders, Mike, he worked at JP Morgan before, and the other guy, Lawrence, also worked at a bank, Barclays. So they do have some banking experience as well. So there you go. That's Flurry Finance. Very different. Another way to make passive income once they're complete. So if you want to check them out, check out the URL in the description of this video. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Now let's do some Q&A. Yeah, there you go. All right, scrolling up. What do you think about BitTorrent? Stack Woods asks, I think they're okay. I don't know what's going on in the Tron ecosystem. Anytime everyone asks me about Tron or BitTorrent or Sun Network, my answer is the same. I don't know what's going on with Justin. I don't know what's going on with the Tron ecosystem. There's no master roadmap of what everything's trying to do. I just don't know. So I don't like them. I don't like them at all. Like right now, I'd much rather be DCA into, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, of course. Of those, Solana is just not taking a breather. There's just so many better projects out there right now. Tom, I appreciate that. Beyond BTC and ETH, what other crypto has potential to reach $1 trillion in market capitalization within the next 5 years? I think it's obvious. I think it's Cardano. And I also do think Binance Coin will get there. And the way Solana is going, I think it's going to get there too. But it's not just them. I've supported VeChain for a long time. I think they're going to get there. I think they're just very, very undervalued that people are not appreciating. But there's many will probably hit 1 trillion in the next 5 years. Keep in mind, this run is not over. The next run will carry things even further. And at that point, I do think we're going to see a lot of 1 trillion market cap projects then. Yeah, so buckle up. Buckle up. Talk about Engine JumpNet. You know what? Didn't look at that layer 2 yet, but Engine just came out with Infinity with Polkadot in conjunction with Polkadot. JumpNet will be their layer 2 solution. Engine is working on a lot of things. I mean, they're working on a lot of things. I've supported them for a long time. They're really in the NFT marketplace or NFT space, but they are just jumping in to a lot of things. When is the Vegas party? It will be next year. Sometime next year when all the pandemic stuff is over. Just Recover still 20% because DCA algorithm is my buy right now. Congratulations. So for some people that got in high at May, right? I recognize April, May, some people got in high. They didn't pull out, right? That's fine. If you took advantage of the dips or you DCA'd like Devon, you'll be up or break even at this point. So congratulations. What do you think about opinion ETH will lose NFT and gaming network due to long-term high gas fees? It could happen. But don't count themselves out because they've been in the same spot since 2017, and they're still the leader, right? But it can't hold on to that lead forever if it doesn't get solved. So that's where Ethereum 2.0 is coming. So we'll see. That's supposed to be at the end of the year, beginning of the year, next year. So it could be solved. How do you do your research on crypto? I want to find more, but I don't know what to look for. It's very hard. It's a very complicated process. But look at the team, the development, whether or not they're going to achieve what they're saying, right? Whether it's possible. Look at the development, the partnerships. Look at the investors, the backers. There's a lot of things to look at. It's an art, and it's not perfect, but you do what you can to kind of put it all together. Silly to buy more sold today. I felt like a small discount. I mean, I've been saying that. I've been saying for a while, wait for a breather, wait for a consolidation period. They had one a few days ago. You figure today they should have had one. This morning they dropped a little bit to like 130s, but they just came right back up. So, yeah. So I don't know how to answer that. You could wait or you could DCA more. How do you feel like Crypto.com? I haven't seen much gains recently. Crypto.com, they're hanging in there, but their token kind of flatlined for a while, right? That's because they don't have a lot of volume. They don't have a lot of volume right now. Not everyone is using their prepaid card, you know. So people have moved on to something like this. Bitcoin rewards credit card from BlockFi, right? So people have moved on. So that may be why CRO is not moving up that much. VET going bombed back. Yes, it always has and it always will. Niddle, thank you. I haven't, I still haven't done a deep dive in Algorand, so I can't tell you everything about it. But I know Charles loves them, and they were created by a very smart guy. But I don't know, like, the intricacies, like what their major advantage is, so I can't really tell you that. Exceed Me, what is this? Earn crypto NFTs playing games. I have seen this before. I mean, it looks promising. I just don't know how many people are actually utilizing this to earn NFTs while playing games. Like right now, this seems like there's a join beta, free $3 and EXEs for your first games. You know, I don't know if this $3 is enough, right? So I mean, if they could keep getting more players, that'd be great. Obviously, esports is very hot right now. Could be okay. Do you see Theta hitting a new time high anytime soon? Hey, just a few days ago it was moving. Unfortunately, it kind of lost some of that recently. But you can see the 30-day, still up 15%. Last year, performance up 1,600%. That's not too shabby. Can it get back to its high of 1,571? Yeah, that could definitely happen by the end of this year. Probably happen beforehand. So yes, it can. Yeah, liquidations today was horrible. The reason why Bitcoin could, fell down to 42,000, the reason why it was able to even come close to that is because of liquidations. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Because it was, last time I checked, it was 3 billion. Yeah, 3.22 billion. That's how bad it was, right? Too many greedy longs. Greedy long leverage. If you were 5x or higher leverage, you got wrecked this morning, right? Bitcoin fell down about 20%. And then, basically, if you had a 5x, 10x, 20x, 50, 100x leverage, you would have got destroyed. What's the easiest way to transfer stablecoins from ERC20 to Sol or any other chains? There's not really an easy way. I mean, just go with a stablecoin like USDC. That's really the only thing, or USDT if you had to. Am I Satoshi? No, I am not. Storage, I think it's okay. I like Arweave much better. Arweave is storage backbone of Solana, but storage is okay. They've been around for a while. Do you think I should mix data on T-Fuel? Yes. T-Fuel, you can now stake it, into an edge node and create it into like a super edge node. So there is use case, and T-Fuel is the fuel to pay for gas fees and so forth, right? So yes, I do like them. I'm still in the green, but that flash correction gave me a flashback to May. You know what? Learn from it and take some profits, right? Take some profits. As we recover, as we head higher, take 10% off the top. Make sure you have cash on the side. That's how you can take advantage of these dips. Have you heard of Soul Stash, the Luda Solana? No, I don't really care for loot boxes. Do you see Elrond moving similar? No, I don't. You know why? Because Elrond doesn't have Sam Bankman-Fried that is pouring billions into it. That's a big difference. How do you feel about trust in crypto? I do not at all. If you're gonna die and you need to pass on your keys to your loved ones, I would not trust some random crypto company to do that. No sir. What if they go belly up, or they go they do a rug pull, or the founders quit or something? No, I would not. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Shout out to Gambling Apes today. 1,500 ETH in volume. That's a lot. That's a lot. Which platform is that on? SAS Crypto, thank you. What do you see for Cardano's price action on the 12th? You know, it could be buy the rumor, sell the news, but it could also be buy the rumor, buy the news. Because right now there's some FUD about, you know, DeFi not working Cardano, right? But if they solve that and it gets implemented on the main network, you know what? It's going to explode, right? So it doesn't mean it has to be buy the rumor, sell the news. It could be buy the news, buy the rumor. Buy the rumor, buy the news. That's what I meant to say. All right. Last few questions. No slave last night from Paul. Was waiting for Star Atlas. Unfortunately, they had a lot of issues, right? Everyone keeps talking about it. Everyone keeps talking about Star Atlas, which is, I know, it's like a, you know, Star techie based game NFT, but yeah, I know it's on Solana too. A lot of people think that Solana's rise was just due to Star Atlas, which I don't think it is, but it probably contributed. But I also heard that they had issues. But if you got in, I think great. You know, they did a really good job with marketing, that's for sure. 15,000. I DC'd 15,000 to dip today. Congratulations, Brian. Thank you. What do you think about Everpedia? I think they're a dead project. I do not like them at all. They have not updated their database in a long time. A long time. They lost their capability to copy from Wikipedia once the guy they hired left. One of the co-founders joined the team, so they were able to pull all the data from Wikipedia. That was smart with them, and then he left, so they can no longer do that. So their data is really old. Really old. All right, last few questions. Thanks for all Georges. Thank you. You think Sol will hit 1K this year? I think it has a good possibility. Good possibility. Thoughts on AMP Lightning Network El Salvador news released today? No, they're not part of it. Shivo is part of the Strike app, which has Lightning in there, but they have no AMP. They're not utilizing AMP for that. So that's a different platform that Strike has come up with. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. Hey, Bitcoin is coming back up, 47.3. You know what? Today, not a good day, but kind of expected. When you have a fantastic day, Bitcoin day, you have a fantastic monumental occasion. You know what? Someone's trying to stop that, right? Go poo-poo it. And that is the IMF. And I showed you guys why they don't like it. They don't like countries to leave their graphs. They want to keep giving out SDR so they can collect that interest and keep these countries under wraps. And they did not like what El Salvador did today. They have been warning for quite some time. And they're losing grasp, and they don't like it. They don't like it at all. All right, guys. No, I'm not Satoshi's brother. Or maybe I am. If I was, I would not tell you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Take care.